Hello friends, welcome back to Learning Nails and Aesthetics. We are in the Milady Nail book, Chapter 3, Skin Structure, Disorders, and Diseases. Starting on page 73, we will be reading to page 83. Keep in mind I am not AI, so mistakes will be made. You can just laugh along with me, and we will figure this out together. Don't forget to check out my other videos, the Milady Foundations book, as well as the Milady Aesthetics book. Let's get started. Describe how environmental and lifestyle factors can contribute to the aging of the skin. Aging of the skin is a process that takes many years and can be influenced by many different factors. We do not necessarily age as our parents have aged. Aging is either intrinsic, which means internal, or extrinsic, which means external, and is influenced by genetics and lifestyle choices. Factors such as sun exposure, environment, proper eating habits, getting enough sleep, exercise, and avoiding excessive choices like alcohol, cigarettes, or recreational drugs greatly influence how we age. Figure 3-8. While it has been estimated that heredity may be responsible for only 15% of the factors that determine how skin ages, genetics do have a great influence on our predisposition to certain diseases and skin disorders. The effects of the sun. Before we start that, figure 3-8 that they noted in the previous paragraph says, what ages you? Intrinsic or extrinsic aging. So intrinsic, the natural aging process, collagen production decreases, cell turnover slows down, time, genetics, and gravity, as opposed to extrinsic aging, external or outside factors that speed up the whole aging process, like sun exposure, smoking, drinking, stress, unhealthy diet, lack of sleep, and lack of exercise. Signs of aging are hair loss, gray hair, thinner hair, dry skin, wrinkles, hollowed sockets, and sunken cheeks. Now continuing the effects of the sun. The sun and its ultraviolet UV energy have the greatest negative impact on how our skin ages. Approximately 80 to 85% of our skin's aging is caused by the sun. The skin on the hands is very vulnerable to sun damage, as it is often forgotten when applying and reapplying sunscreen. And they reference figure 3-9, which I only assume is on the next page. As we age, the collagen and elastin fibers of the skin naturally weaken. Aging happens at a much faster rate when the skin is frequently exposed to ultraviolet energy without proper protection. The UV energy of the sun reaches the skin in two different formats. Two different forms, UVA and UVB energy. UV is not considered to be light, since it is not visible to the human eye. Therefore, the proper term is energy. UVA and UVB energy affect the skin at different levels. UVB rays are shorter and have a higher frequency. They are more damaging to skin as they penetrate the epidermis, which is the top layer of skin, and cause the skin to tan by affecting the melanocyte cells of the epidermis that are responsible for producing melanin, the skin's pigment. UVB, also known as the burning rays, can cause sunburns. Melanin is designed to help protect the skin from all UV energy that can be altered or destroyed by frequent exposure of UVB energy. UVA or aging rays can penetrate the Earth's crust up to 20%. Lost my place. Up to 20%. The longer UVA rays break down collagen and elastin, which contributes to loss of skin tone and causes wrinkles, sagging, and cellulite. Although UVB penetration is not as deep as UVA, both are damaging to the skin and can damage the eyes as well. On a positive note, UVB energy contributes to the body's synthesis of vitamin D and other important minerals. The amount of sun exposure necessary for vitamin D synthesis is approximately 10 minutes per day. UVB also helps increase melatonin in our brains, which helps regulate mood and healthy sleep patterns. If clients seek additional professional advice on how to protect the skin from overexposure to the sun, refer them to a physician or a licensed esthetician, a specialist in cleansing, prevention of health, and beautification. Okay, let's go back. Refer them to a physician or a licensed esthetician, which is a specialist in cleansing, preservation of health, and beautification of the skin and body. However, as a consultant to your clients, you may wish to advise them about the necessary precautions to take when they are exposed to the sun. 15 minutes before going into direct sunlight, apply a protective moisturizer or lotion with a sunscreen of at least SPF 15 to 30 on all areas of potential exposure. Avoid prolonged exposure to the sun during peak hours when UV exposure is highest. This is usually between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Apply sunscreen liberally and as directed. Many people apply too thin of a layer to protect the skin. This is a very common problem, so take care. Reapply after swimming or any activities that result in heavy perspiration. If the skin is exposed to hours of sun, such as during a boat trip or a day at the beach, sunscreen should be applied periodically through the day as a precaution. Water-resistant sunscreens are more effective under these conditions. Use a broad-spectrum sunscreen that filters out both UVA and UVB energy. Check the expiration dates printed on the bottle to make sure the sunscreen has not expired. Avoid exposing young children younger than 6 months to direct sunlight. If your skin is prone to burning easily, wear a hat, protective clothing, high SPF sunscreens when participating in outdoor activities. Redheads and blue-eyed blondes with pale skin are particularly susceptible to sun damage. In addition to following the above precautions, clients should be advised to regularly see a physician specializing in dermatology for checkups of the skin, especially if any changes in coloration, size, or shape of a mole are detected, or if the skin bleeds unexpectedly or a lesion or scrape does not heal quickly. Home self-examination can be an effective way to check for signs of potential skin cancer between scheduled doctor visits. When performing a self-care examination, clients should be advised to check for any changes in existing moles and pay attention to any new visible growths on the skin. Skin aging and the environment. While sun exposure may play a major role in how the skin ages, changes in our environment also greatly influence this aging process. Pollutants in the air from factories, automobile exhaust, and even secondhand smoke can all influence the appearance and overall health of our skin. While certain pollutants may lead to irritation or other types of adverse skin reactions that affect the surface appearance of the skin, they can also adversely alter the health of the underlying cells and tissues. The best defense against these pollutants is the simplest one. Follow a good daily skincare routine. Routine washing at night helps remove the buildup of pollutants that have settled on the skin surface throughout the day. The application of daily moisturizers, protective lotions, and even foundation products will help to protect the skin from airborne pollutants. The Fitzpatrick scale. The Fitzpatrick classification system was implemented by Thomas Fitzpatrick, MD, as a standard for determining how quickly a person may burn when exposed to UV light or heat. The presence of melanin is a contributing factor and can also help identify skin types that are sensitive to pigmentation issues or poor healing. Keloids. Table 3-1. Aging and lifestyle. Aging of the skin cannot be blamed entirely on outside influences of the sun or wind. What we choose to put in our bodies also has a profound effect on the overall aging process. The impact of poor choices can be seen most visibly on the skin. Smoking, drinking, illicit drug use, and poor dietary choices all greatly influence the aging process. It is the responsibility of the practitioner to be aware of how these habits affect the skin. Tactfully point out the effects to clients and refer them to a physician or licensed esthetician. Activity. Find skin types. Use your cell phone to create a collage of the 6 Fitzpatrick skin types and send it to your instructor. Figure 3-1, the Fitzpatrick scale. Now this does show different skin shades, so if you are just listening, it is a good idea to pause this video and look when you can, or rewatch it later, or you can just Google the Fitzpatrick scale. Starting with Fitzpatrick type number 1, eyes blue or green, hair blonde or red, unexposed skin very white, almost translucent, and freckles. Heritage, heredity, English, Irish, Scottish, Northern European. Skin reactions in UV exposure. Always burns, peels with burn, does not tan. And number 2, eyes blue, hazel, or brown, hair red, blonde, brown, unexposed skin light, heritage, heredity, Scandinavian, and same as Fitzpatrick 1, which was English, Irish, Scottish, and Northern European. Skin reactions by UV exposure, burns easily, usually peels, tans minimally. That's me. I think I'm a 2 or a 3. Red hair, blue eyes, Irish. Number 3, what is your Fitzpatrick scale? See what I did there? Need to get some interaction on these videos. Don't forget to like and comment. Number 3, eyes brown, hair dark, unexposed skin fair to olive, heritage, heredity, Spanish, Greek, Italian. Skin reaction to UV exposure, tans well, burns moderately. Number 4, dark eyes, dark hair, unexposed skin light brown. Heritage and heredity, Mediterranean, Asian, and Hispanic. Skin reaction to UV exposure, tans easily, burns minimally, experiences immediate pigment response. Number 5, dark eyes and hair, unexposed skin is dark, Eastern Indian, American Indian, Hispanic, Latin American, and African American. Skin reaction to UV exposure, rarely burns, tans easily and significantly. And number 6 is the darkest of the Fitzpatrick scale, eyes and hair both dark, unexposed skin dark brown or black, heritage, heredity, African American, or Aboriginal. Skin reaction to UV exposure, rarely, never burns, tans easily. Continuing down the page, 76. Smoking and tobacco use may not only cause cancer, but has also been linked to premature aging and wrinkling of the skin. Inhaling the nicotine in tobacco causes the contraction and weakening of the blood vessels and small capillaries that supply blood to the tissue. In turn, This contraction and weakening causes decreased circulation to the tissue. Eventually, the tissues are deprived of essential oxygen. The effect of this becomes evident on the skin surface. The skin may appear yellowish or gray in color with a dull appearance. The smoke can absorb onto the nail plate or artificial nail enhancement and cause yellow stains. And there's an example of this, figure 3-10 in the lower corner of page 76. The overuse of alcohol or illicit drugs can have an equally damaging effect on the skin. Heavy or excessive intake of alcohol can overdilate blood vessels and capillaries. Over time, this may weaken fragile capillary walls to cause a condition called telangiectasia. This condition may also be caused by tobacco use, sun exposure, or other environmental factors. Both smoking and drinking contribute to the aging process on their own, but the combination of the two can be devastating to the tissue and the appearance of the skin. The constant dilation and contraction of tiny capillaries and blood vessels can lead to deprivation of oxygen and water to the tissue. This can quickly make the skin appear inflamed or lifeless and dull. It is very difficult for the skin to adjust and repair itself. Usually the damage done by these lifestyle habits is hard to reverse or diminish. Like any other organ of the body, the skin is susceptible to a variety of diseases, disorders, and ailments. If you work as a nail technician, you will often see skin disorders. So you must be prepared to recognize certain common skin conditions and know what services you can and cannot perform on the client's skin. Skin disorders should only be treated by a physician. Any healing or medical preparations must be prescribed by a physician. Any healing or medical preparations must be prescribed by a physician. Yes, I repeated that on purpose. Nail technicians must never attempt to diagnose, treat, or prescribe treatment for any abnormal condition of the nails, skin, hands, or feet. Clients with abnormal skin or nails must be referred to a physician. It is very important that a nail salon does not serve a client who is suffering from an open wound or visibly inflamed skin. The nail professional should be able to recognize abnormal conditions and recommend that the client see a physician to avoid more serious consequences. Check in. Explain the effect of overexposure to the sun on the skin. List the factors that contribute to aging of the skin. What is the recommendation when applying sunscreens? Identify the symptoms of the most common skin disorders and diseases. Symptoms or signs of diseases. Symptoms or signs of disorder are divided into two areas of concerns for clients. Subjective symptoms are those that you can feel. Objective symptoms are those that you can see. Signs of diseases or disorders that are felt but may not be seen include itching, burning, or pain. An example of a symptom that can be seen and felt would be a blister on a client's foot or hand. You must avoid contact with any open skin or lesions. Not all skin diseases are contagious. Some are highly infectious, such as warts, athlete's foot, and shingles. Others are a part of a person's genetic predisposition, like eczema or psoriasis. Recognizing the difference is an important part of practicing client safety. If you are in doubt about something you see, you should require your client to obtain a physician's release before performing any salon services. Did you know a keratinoma, also known as a callus, is an acquired superficial thickened patch of epidermis caused by pressure or friction on the hands and feet? This is common on the skin of musicians. Skin lesions. A lesion is a mark on the skin. Certain lesions could indicate an injury or damage that changes the structure of tissue or organs. There are 3 types of lesions: primary, secondary, and tertiary. The nail technician is concerned with primary and secondary lesions only. If you're familiar with the principal skin lesions, you will be better equipped to recognize abnormal conditions that must not be treated in a salon. The terms for the lesions listed below often indicate differences in the skin layers affected and the size of the lesion. These disorders cannot be diagnosed by a nail technician or treated in the salon. They are presented here only so that you can more easily spot abnormal conditions and know that a client who has them should be referred to a physician. Primary lesions. Primary lesions are lesions that are a different color than the color of the skin and or lesions that are raised above the surface of the skin. They are often differentiated by size and layers of skin affected. They may require medical referral. Refer to Table 3-2 for examples and definitions. So again, if you are just listening, it is a good idea to look at these, replay later, pause the video, whatever you need to do. Primary lesion, bulla, and then it has a picture. Description: large blister containing a watery fluid, similar to a vesicle, requires medical referral. Examples are contact dermatitis, large second-degree burns, bulbous impetigo, and pemphigus. I probably did not say that right. Pemphigus, cyst, and tubercle. And each of these have an image, not just the drawing has an actual photograph. Description: closed, abnormally developed sac that contains pus, semifluid, or morbid matter above or below the skin. A cyst can be drained of fluid, and a tubercle cannot. Requires medical referral. An example: cyst, severe acne. Tubercle is lipoma, erythema, and nodosum. A macule. Description: flat spot or discoloration on the skin. Examples are freckles or age spots. A nodule, a solid bump larger than 0.4 inches, 1 centimeter, that can be easily felt, requires medical referral. Swollen lymph nodes and rheumatoid nodes. A papule, a small elevation on the skin that contains no fluid but may develop pus. Examples are acne, warts, and elevated nevi or nevi. Not sure, N-E-V-I. A pustule, raised, inflamed papule with a white or yellow center containing pus in the top of the lesion. Examples are acne, impetigo, and folliculitis. A tumor, abnormal mass varying in size, shape, and color. Any type of abnormal mass, not always cancer, requires medical referral. An example, and it just says cancer. A vesicle, a small blister or sac containing clear fluid, lying within or just beneath the epidermis. Requires medical referral if cause is unknown or untreatable with over-the-counter products. An example is poison ivy and poison oak. Table 3-2 continues on page 80. A wheal, which is spelled W-H-E-A-L. Description: an itchy swollen lesion that can be caused by a blow, scratch, bite of an insect, or urticaria, which is a skin allergy, or the sting of a nettle. typically resolves on its own, but referral to a physician should be considered when the condition lasts more than 3 days. An example, hives and mosquito bites. Secondary lesions are characterized by piles of material on the skin surface, such as crust, a scab, or by depressions in the skin surface, such as an ulcer. These may require medical referral. Refer to Table 3-3 for examples and definitions. This is Table 3-3, secondary skin lesions. Crust. And again, it has images as well as graphics. Description. Dead cells that form over a wound or blemish while healing. Accumulation of sebum and pus, sometimes mixed with epidermal cells. An example, a scab or a sore. Excoriation, skin sore or abrasion produced by scratching or scraping. Examples, nail cuticle damage from nail biting. A fissure, crack in the skin that penetrates the dermis. Severely cracked and or chapped hands, lips, or feet. This is really common in the heel area more so, I think, than anywhere else on the body. However, I am not a physician. Keloid, a thick scar resulting from excessive growth of fibrous tissue. Keloids will form along any type of scar for people susceptible to them. Scale, thin, dry, or oily plate of epidermal flakes. Examples, excessive dandruff and psoriasis. Scar or cicatrix. Slightly raised or depressed area of the skin that forms as a result of the healing process related to an injury or lesion. An example is post-operative repair. Ulcer, open lesion on the skin or mucous membrane of the body, accompanied by loss of skin depth and possibly weeping of fluids or pus. Requires medical referral, particularly in clients with underlying medical conditions such as diabetes. Examples are chickenpox and herpes. Disorders of the sudoriferous, which are sweat glands. Some disorders of the sudoriferous glands are anhidrosis, a deficiency in perspiration, often a result of fever or certain skin disorders. Bromidrosis, a foul-smelling perspiration usually noticed in the armpits or on the feet. And something kind of funny, the way I remember this is the word is bromidrosis. So if someone smells bad, you're like, dude, bro, get it? Ha ha, bromidrosis, bro. I think it's funny. I hope you're laughing and not clicking away. Hyperhidrosis, excessive sweating with unknown causes. People with hyperhidrosis may sweat even when the temperature is cool or when they are at complete rest. This is a treatable medical condition. And if you remember, hyper in every word part medical terminology always means excessive. So hyper as opposed to hypo, which is usually meaning non-existent or less than what is considered normal. Continuing. Miliaria rubra, prickly heat, acute inflammatory disorder of the sweat glands, and is characterized by the eruption of small red vesicles and accompanied by burning, itching skin caused by blockage of the sweat glands. Skin inflammations. Dermatitis, an abnormal inflammatory condition of the skin. The lesions come in various forms, such as vesicles or papules. Eczema, an inflammatory, painful, itching disease of the skin. It is acute or chronic in nature and presents in many forms, from flaky or dry, itchy skin to hot or moist lesions that are blister-like and sometimes painful. There are several different types of eczema. Eczema is not contagious and can be treated by a physician. Figure 3-11 shows an example of eczema on the lower leg, and that's a pretty good example, very excessive example. Cellulitis appears as a swollen red area of skin that feels hot and tender. It can spread rapidly to other parts of the body. Cellulitis isn't usually spread from person to person, although it is an internal bacterial infection beneath the skin, usually caused by Staphylococcus and Streptococcus. Psoriasis, a skin disease characterized by red patches covered with silver white scales, usually found on the scalp, elbows, knees, chest, and lower back. Psoriasis is caused by the skin cells turning over faster than normal. It rarely occurs on the face, but is common within the eyebrows, along the hairline, and throughout the scalp. If irritated, bleeding points can occur. Psoriasis can also affect the nail plate, causing them to develop surface pits, red spots on the nail bed, or other related symptoms. Psoriasis is not contagious, and figure 3-12 shows an example of that. And that'll do it for this video. We will continue this chapter in the Milady Nails book, Skin Structure, Disorders, and Diseases. Please don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. I hope to grow this channel. I hope this was helpful to you. I appreciate you watching. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.